watching. You are watching.
You're watching. You guys are watching.
You're watching. Soulful discussion.
So, hi, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. I'm doing great. So, how did our paths cross today? How did we just meet today?
Actually, I was just working out.
Absolutely. And I came up and I disturbed the workout.
It's okay. I need a break anyway.
Oh, cool. So, I approached you. What did I approach you about?
Like mental health and basically mental health and health in general.
Absolutely. So, I gave you 3 topics. You remember all 3?
No, just 2.
So, it's about how you feel about your feet, mental health, and reflexology, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now, in terms of mental health, are there any topics you kind of follow closely? You kind of like make sure you pay attention to?
Actually, no.
Okay.
Just all mental health. Period.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we're gonna talk a little bit today about like dealing with depression and anxiety, kind of how to like overcome certain situations maybe you may be presented with, and I like to get your feedback on like how you do about like you already taught me like you're a nurse during the pandemic, so I'd like to hear a little bit about that. Cool?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so what about reflexology? You ever heard of it?
No.
Okay. I bet you have.
I have, but probably just like, okay.
Yeah. You maybe know the surface level stuff, so I'll kind of go a little bit more into detail, and I like to get your feelings about how you feel about the subject matter, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the first question. What's something that you like that other people might find to be weird? And I'm using that term weird for a reason. Maybe it's a hobby you have, or maybe a certain way you eat your food.
I don't know, but when I like have a drink, or I have to smell it before I drink it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is weird. I don't know why, but I do.
You know what it is? I think that some people tend to use all this because they do that with drinking wine and things like that. So sometimes people like to like get that sense, and it's like toxins going to the brain, and maybe it gives you like a positive or a negative reaction.
Like, I don't think I want to drink this.
Yeah. My girlfriend does say she smells everything, food, drinks, everything. So
yeah,
absolutely. So has anyone ever made you feel insecure about your body or a body part before?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is that something you still deal with today, or do you kind of have a control over it?
Nah, I still deal with it every day.
Okay. So, like, every day, it's like there's different days, right? Maybe you have better days, and some days...
There's some days where I'm like, oh, yeah, I look good today. And some days like, girl, you need to go work out.
Yeah. And that's what we do. I mean, unfortunately, like, that's one of the things we deal with in life in terms of just, like, because of society, sometimes pressures and some of the things we may see through social media, things like that.
Especially with like gaining a lot of weight and then feeling depressed and insecure about that, and then losing the weight, and still mentally you see that person.
Absolutely.
I deal with that all the time. Like I lost 63, almost 70 pounds.
Yeah.
And I still see that girl.
Body dysmorphia, basically, like seeing something else.
And I was like, oh my God, why is it not going nowhere?
Yeah.
But everybody else is like, girl, calm down.
You've done a lot. Absolutely. So now, what are some steps that you take? Because you said like you deal with that sometimes like day to day. What are some steps you kind of take to kind of get yourself out of that?
I work out real hard.
Okay.
I just think of it, and then it motivates me more to do more.
Absolutely.
But sometimes that's bad, because then it's like you're trying to...
You overdo it, maybe.
You overdo it, and it's like, wow, I'm only doing this because somebody else said this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not doing it for you.
Yes.
You're doing it for the benefit of somebody else.
Yeah. And it's like, is that really, like, conducive to you? Is it like really something that's going to help you in the long run?
Yeah.
So absolutely. If there was one thing you could change, right? Somebody gave you the power to change whatever you want, and it doesn't have to be physical, it could be anything you wanted. What would you change?
I don't know.
It's a difficult one, right?
That's a difficult question, because there's a lot of things. Like, it doesn't even have to be with just me. It could be the world in general, right? So there's a lot. That people being more kind, I could say that. Okay. Being more care, like have more care for others.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people tend to be in their own space, own headspace, that they don't even care about the people around them. Yeah. Being more happy. A lot of people walk around so uptight and angry and miserable, but these people didn't do nothing to you. So why are you mad at them?
Absolutely.
So
and
maybe
that's a good one. That's an absolute good one. Like I don't really get too many people that say that. But I do think, like, you know, because I try to kind of follow that golden rule in terms of doing unto others as you want them to do unto you. Like, kind of treating people, like, with that kindness. And, like, if every person was to do that to somebody else, like you said, we'd have kinder people in the world. So
exactly.
It's absolutely great. So let's get into these questions. Interested to see how you're gonna like react to this and how you feel about these. What are your thoughts about your feet? How do you feel about your feet?
Like,
you like them? You don't like them?
I love my
You're
feet.
indifferent? Okay, so you love them. Okay. Now, in terms of your feet, have you ever gotten any compliments? Anybody ever told you had nice feet? Okay. Now, are we talking men or women?
Both.
Both?
Both.
Okay.
Men and women. It's just, they call them little sausages.
Little sausages. So when you receive that compliment, right? How does it make you feel? What are your thoughts like that sometimes come through your mind? Like,
it feels good. Okay. Women, no matter if it's male or female, give you a compliment, it always feels good. Yeah.
Compliments are made to make us feel better, right? That's what
it makes
the
you
intention
happy.
is.
You could be going through something that morning or day, and someone give you a compliment. All of a sudden, you're just super excited, super happy. You're like, what? Yeah, absolutely. I do look good today.
Yeah. Thanks. Absolutely. And so, in terms of compliments that you receive from men and women, and not just about your feet, but in general, is there a difference in how you feel about those compliments, or do they feel the same to you?
Sometimes, because sorry to say, but some men could be more sexual about it. Yeah. When women do it, it's more like, it's not sexual. Yeah. It can be, but it's not.
They say it because they know, right?
Yeah.
They're women, so they can know like the details and things that you may go through, like the dress and maybe things like that.
And men, they could kind of be kind of mean. Like if a female put on a dress, it might not look good, but men tend don't to be like that. Men don't be like, it looks good, but they be like, nuh-uh. That ain't it. Go try something different. You gotta be a little more kinder because that hurts our feelings.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that that's something I continue to hear from like a lot of the women that I interview. Like they tend to tell me that like sometimes men can give compliments and sometimes it's so that they can get something in return. Whereas women will give you a compliment and it's meant to make you feel better and you know that women empowerment things like that. So I can get what you're saying with that. What would your thoughts be if you started dating somebody who was into feet? How would you feel about that? Like, I don't know if you've ever had any experiences with it before, but...
I wouldn't feel no way about it.
Okay. But I'm saying, would you be accepting of it? And let me put it in context. So I'm saying, this guy, like, loves you for you as a whole, but, like, his thing is feet. And he would want to give you, like, foot massages, rub on your feet, kiss on your feet, things like that. Would you be okay with that? Or would that be something... Yeah, you'd be okay with it. Okay.
Of course.
Well, you'll be surprised. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of women I interview, and they're like, no. You know, I'm okay with the foot massage.
That, you know, I'd rather have someone with a foot fetish than someone with a fetish of rabbits or some shit. Like,
you talk about the furry babies and stuff like that. There's some people in the unicorn little ponies. Like, it's all kinds of stuff. And that's what I try to tell people when I go on and do these interviews. I'm like, man, you don't know. Like, there's a whole
different world out there.
Like, if you start deep diving, you'll be
there's people who have fetishes of, like, people dressing up as babies.
Yeah. No. The one I interviewed one of my friends and she talked about like a friend of hers talked about like not that he was into it, but like people who like to have like people like do their business on them. Yeah. And I was like,
I heard about that.
I was like, you know, that's something I could probably never get to because I'm just like I don't, you know.
That's disrespectful.
There you go. Exactly. In terms of when you first start dating someone, right? When is the appropriate time to kind of talk about, like, hey, I'm into this, that person's into this?
There's never appropriate.
And not just from the sexual matter too. I'm talking about in terms of like mentally, like, hey, this is where I'm going in life. Where are you going? When should you have those talks?
It actually depends on how the relationship is.
Okay.
Because, like, me and my husband, we talked about those things straight off the bat. Yeah. Because we need to let it be known, like, look, this is what I'm into. This is what I like.
Are you into this?
Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, before we go any further? Okay, we good. All right, let's go.
To me, I feel like, and this is my opinion, that's the best approach because I feel like you can get it out of the way quickly and, like, you find out, like, okay, this person is not like into what I'm into. I can move on and maybe find somebody.
Yeah, no feelings are broken, no nothing.
Exactly, because I interviewed one girl and she was like probably the only person to this date that told me like she felt like after you start dating someone like you guys are official now, then you should talk about that. And I was like, I feel like that's way too late. Yeah. I was like, get it out the way early.
I feel like anything hidden in the closet, anything
let me know
that you're insecure about.
Because this is something I can deal with or not.
Let that person know in the beginning so you can be like, okay, I feel good because I got it off my chest a little bit. I could be more confident about talking about it now. And if they don't like it, fuck it.
Yeah,
go to somebody else.
You keep it pushing. Yeah, you keep it pushing.
You know, your heart ain't broken.
Yeah, exactly. How often do you get pedicures? Things like that.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Okay. Any favorite colors you like to get?
Nah.
Just whatever you feeling.
I normally go with the season.
Okay. Cool. Have you ever heard of a medical pedicure before?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever went and got one?
Nope.
Okay. So going to a podiatrist, right? They take a look at your feet. They look at your nails and make sure they grow correctly. Your toe alignment. They make sure you don't have dead skin or fungus, things like that.
Hangnails.
Yeah, exactly. Now, would that be something in the future that you would maybe go and test out?
Maybe when I'm like super old.
Well, here's
and I
the
got
thing.
Something to worry about.
Okay, now I'm gonna tell you this because what I found, right? So I got this information from a woman who I interviewed before, and she says that like what they tell you is that a lot of people wait till later in life, like you're saying, to go see them, and then it's too late. So now you have all these issues, and then they're like, "There's only so much I can do, man." And so now at that point, instead of it being like proactive and preventive, like now you're just trying to like maintain and trying to like not let it get worse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they say you should go see somebody like that every 3 months or so, just to like keep the maintenance up.
People tend to not pay attention to their feet.
It's true.
They worry about all their hands, their hair, body, health, but they forget about feet.
Yeah. A lot of people, I feel, they just don't. Like they don't look at the fact that first of all it's something that grounds you to the earth. Like it's the main, like it holds you up, your whole body up.
Yeah.
Right. I was just listening to a doctor today on the radio talk about like how like when we walk, like from heel to like the flat portion of your foot and then to toe, like sometimes we think that if you're 200 pounds, you got 100 pounds being held up here and 100 pounds on your right foot, right? But in actuality, when you make a movement, all that pressure and all that weight gets pushed over to like your toes and things like that. So like you said, like being preventive and like taking care of that stuff is very important. A lot of people don't pay attention to it. So absolutely.
Especially when people are going through like weight loss and like even women, because our weight changes.
And your body
all
changes.
The time.
Yeah,
our body changes. So even with that, is your feet is your main.
Absolutely.
It's more to me. It's important. Mm-hmm. That's why I go every 2 weeks. But
keep that maintenance up.
Sometimes I just go because I like it.
Yeah, well, I mean, who doesn't like getting pampered, right?
Yeah.
How often do you wear like open toe shoes, sandals, flip flops, things like that?
Just California.
Yeah.
All the fucking time.
Oh, so there you go. How often do you go barefoot, no shoes?
When I'm in a house.
Okay. You ever heard of grounding, earthing? So it's like when you're barefoot in grass or dirt, sand.
I have done it in grass, sand, at the beach and stuff.
Do you feel a difference when you do it?
No.
You don't feel a difference like from when you're wearing shoes to like being barefoot?
Oh hell yeah, I feel the difference.
So that's supposed to be that grounding feeling that you get, right? Because we come into the world, right, like with no shoes, no socks. So,
I like it better.
Yeah, actually, and that's what a lot of people.
I don't like shoes. I feel like it's suffocating.
So you preferred if you could go barefoot, if everywhere was clean.
I would walk barefoot.
You would walk barefoot.
I really would.
Absolutely. Okay. So now that we've entered this portion, can we see what your feet look like up close?
Nope.
Okay. Why not?
I don't know.
Okay. You don't know?
A little personal.
It's a little personal. Okay.
That's one thing I don't know.
Okay.
That's great. I don't know.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. So now I started this YouTube channel and like I use every step. If you notice my questions, everything's a step. So you may be feeling, are you feeling any anxiousness from this? Are you feeling any type of like
maybe shyness?
Shyness? Okay. What's the worst that would happen like if you did show your feet? Like if you were thinking about it from an absolute yeah, no worries. If you were thinking about it, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Nothing.
Nothing? So then why the apprehension?
I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing.
It's a mental thing. Okay. So here's what I'll tell you, right? A lot of times we encounter things in life, right?
Oh my God.
Where sometimes we deal with things that may be uncomfortable for us, may push us out of our comfort zones.
That's exactly what it is.
Right? So, but how do we overcome that? Because every time we like encounter a situation like that, we can't always run the other way, right? Sometimes we're gonna have to like push forward and push past it. So how do we do that? Like, what are the steps that we take to like cope with it, deal with it, things like that?
I don't know. I think you just gotta do it. Sometimes you just gotta just jump off.
Yeah, I mean, because to me, like, right, let's say there's foods that you like, right? I mean, foods that you've never tried before, I would say, right?
Yeah.
How do you know what you like and you don't like until you actually go out and you try it, right? You don't know what it's like.
That's true.
Right? So when I go out and I do this, it's always to see like, okay, hey, some people may have, because I get some people who are just like, they don't have a problem at all. And then I get to this point, some people are like, I don't know. So it's like, but what's the worst that would happen like from doing that? Right?
Really nothing, because I like my feet.
So then what's the worst that happen? Like you're not worried about bad comments or anything like that, right?
Okay.
All right. Cool. And I see you got the what kind of socks are those? Okay, nice.
They're Rocco socks.
Nice Rocco socks. Okay. Let me just get you take them off and then put them both right here.
Both?
Yeah, leave your socks on for a minute.
Okay.
All right. And then, so what size do you wear, first of all?
8 in women.
8 in women. Does it vary depending on what type of shoe you wear, like a sandal or a heel or something like that?
Yeah, sometimes 7.5, sometimes 8. And then, like, boys, it's like a 6.
6.5, right? Should be, right? Okay. Let me get you, extend your feet out. Let's see the bottoms. Yeah, there you go.
I'm flat-footed.
You're flat-footed? You don't have much of an arch?
Not that much, just
you got a little bit. You got a little bit.
A baby arch.
Absolutely. Okay. And now you can take your socks off.
Look at my feet clean.
There. Come on. All right, and it looks like you got the blue toenail polish right there.
Yeah.
All right. A nice tattoo. What is that? That's like a heart, some hearts,
and some waves.
Okay, nice. You got the blue toenail polish rocking right now. Yeah. Not bad. Extend your feet out, and then let's go toes up, and try to put them close together. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
They're fine. Don't worry. All right. So how are you feeling? Now we're going through this. We went through our first year, we're a little apprehensive, but how are you feeling now? What? You feeling comfortable?
Just a little bit.
Okay, just a little bit comfortable. Okay, all right. So let's talk about a little bit of reflexology first of all. Let me get you to cross one over this. Oh, yeah, that's fine. And then kind of flex your toes up a bit. Okay, and then let's do the other way. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the reflexology, okay? And then leave your feet up and I'm going to go through a couple more exercises, okay?
Okay.
So, reflexology deals with the different pressure points we actually have in our hands and in our feet, right? You probably heard something along those lines, right? So those pressure points actually correlate to different parts of your body. So like through massage, acupuncture, acupressure, you can actually alleviate like stress and tension throughout your body. So if you're somebody who deals with migraines, right? Mm-hmm. There's actually a portion of your foot to massage that can actually alleviate the tension you feel from migraines. It won't go away like immediately.
Yeah. They do that with hands too, though.
Yeah, and you might have heard about it because you're a nurse, so maybe you've heard a little bit along the lines of that. So they're actually called these areas zones. Each zone like represents like a different part of the body, the head, the liver, the kidneys, different parts like that. What are your thoughts about like reflexology and kind of what it can do from you from more of a holistic standpoint as opposed to like medicines and things like that?
I don't know. It helps some people and it helps. Yeah. Maybe not help others.
Would you ever go out and like try it? Like, let's say you were out and maybe you were having like some type of pain. So, are you somebody who like goes like to medicine first? Like, you prefer that? She's like, nope, not going for it.
I will go straight to the medicine first. If that don't work, I'll just like, well, we're gonna thug it out. Then.
Okay, absolutely. All right. So now, with that being said, we're at this portion of the interview. How ticklish do you tend to be?
If I know it's coming, I'm not ticklish.
You're not ticklish.
But if it's unexpected.
So scale of 1 to 10, what are we saying?
I have no clue.
No clue. Do you mind if we try it?
I guess.
Is that okay? Okay. Cool. All right. So we're gonna start with the right, and I want you to tell me where it's most sensitive at, and tell me which one is more sensitive. Okay. Once we go to the left. Okay. So let's start the right. 1, 2, 3. Where do you feel it at the most? Is it the arch area?
Right here.
Right in the arch? Okay. And a little bit at the top, I can tell too, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's try your left, and I'd like to know if this one is more sensitive, okay? Let me get you to flex your foot up a little bit, okay? 1, 2, 3, and... This one seems to be more, right? Because like right when I got to baby that portion, it was like very ticklish. Hold on. Try to hold it there. More ticklish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want you to try something for me. You tell me if it's more or less, okay? Wiggle your toes right here. Less, right?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
Because your foot's in motion, the muscles are moving, so it can't pick up on the sensation. So I don't know if you've ever ticklish when you go get your pedicures.
Yes.
But move your toes a little bit. You won't feel it as much. All right, let's try this one. Wiggle. Less, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. What was the sensitivity on this foot? 1 to 10.
Maybe like a 5.
5? What about this one?
Like a 7.
7. It was a lot more. Now, when you wiggled your toes, did it go down drastically?
Yeah. I could, like, chill it out.
Absolutely. Now, put your feet a little closer together. I want you to do a couple exercises, and I want to see if you have any ligament or bone damage, okay? Just bend your toes over, make a fist.
Did that?
Well, no. Put them back up, and just bend your toe area. There you go. Now, do you feel any pain or discomfort when you're doing that? Is it easy to do? Mm-hmm. Relax, okay? Spread your toes. Tell me if you feel any pain or discomfort from that. No. Easy to do? Mm-hmm. Okay, relax. And then just wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds and tell me if you feel any pain or discomfort from that. Easy to do? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So now, let's wrap up this interview now. Now, in terms of my approach, when I came over and I asked you to do the interview, did you feel it was good, bad? Is there something I could work on? What were your thoughts about it?
No, it was polite manners. You know, it was nice. It didn't seem like a weirdo or a creep or nothing like that.
Thank you so much. I'm always glad when I hear that, hey, man, you don't seem like a creep. Appreciate that.
You know, it was, you kind of made it comfortable.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Got it.
It's good. I don't know. Some people are kind of weirdos. I'm like, back up.
So in terms of the interview, right, start to finish, did you see how everything was going in line? Did it make sense to you? Did you learn anything new?
Yes, it did make sense. It's just I'm a natural shy person, so it took me a little while to get a little comfortable.
That's okay, and I'm a stranger, right? You don't know.
And I don't know you.
Absolutely, so I can understand.
I was just like,
you're like, what is this about?
Okay.
Right? But you were able to go through it. You worked up some courage. You were able to go through it. The last thing I'll ask you, from a mental health standpoint, maybe a life lesson that you've learned, some wise words somebody once said to you that you could say to my channel that might be helpful.
Love yourself. Fudge cakes, what everybody else say. Love yourself. Your self-love is so important.
Absolutely.
And don't change you for somebody else.
Absolutely.
Once you start to change yourself for somebody else, you start to get depressed. And you start to lose yourself. And you forget everything about you. And that's not good.
Absolutely.
That is a big mental thing. And a lot of women deal with it. And a lot of men. But more women
a lot of men won't even mention it.
They won't even talk about it. But women go through it a lot. Yeah. And they think that they're happy, but deep down inside, they're not.
Absolutely.
So, love you first. Don't change yourself for nobody. Mm-hmm. Only for you.
That's a good one.
That's it.
Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you going through the process. All right. And we hope that you have a great one, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.